So in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the Malefic deck. Sorry, not the Cyber deck. So this is the Malefic deck. Recently, we've got some new support in dual power, and the deck is really cool. The kind of way it works is you're going to be summoning like a 4,000 beat stick each turn, and you can special summon multiples. With some of the new support, and I'll show you kind of what way you run and what kind of ratios the way to run the deck. Some of the extra decks stuff, and I'll just go over for those of you who haven't played the deck or haven't seen it. But I've been play testing a lot of it, and unless your opponent has like a couple of negations and stuff, they can't actually beat it. Not really, not by battle anyway. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first card we have is our big boss monster, which is Malefic Cyber End Dragon. All you have to do is summon him, is have a field spell on the field. Is the way the whole deck kind of works that way. You have to have a field spell, and you have to have Malefic or Cyber End Dragon in your extra deck and banish that card. And you get special summon him. So that's pretty much it does. When like the field spell has the effect that only one can attack, but we have some of the new support negates that stuff, so it's actually like they can all attack, and becomes really cool. So this is a level 10. Then we have another level 10. We have Malefic Rainbow Dragon. So we don't actually run Rainbow Dragon because normally each Malefic obviously have to send their normal counterpart to summon this one. But we don't run the normal Malefic or the normal Rainbow Dragon because we have one of the small little tuner guys, which I'll show you as we get on. But this one is another 4,000 beat stick, same kind of effect. If there's no field spell card, you have to destroy him, and yeah, that's the way he works. Then we have the one Blue Eyes White Dragon. The reason we want to run Blue Eyes White Dragon is for these two Malefic Blue Eyes White Dragon. So we run two of this, and yeah, so this one is just kind of he's the same sort of effect. He special summons himself by banishing the blue eyes. So you don't want to draw the blue eyes, that's why you have only one. Other monsters you control can't declare an attack. They all have the same similar effect. If there's no field spell, it gets destroyed. That's the point there. The next one, this is a Malefic Stardust Dragon. So this one was probably one of the best back in the day, only because it has the same effects as the others, only has an extra effect that it defends a field spell. So your opponent can't actually target a field spell, or it can't be destroyed by card effects. So that's one little extra bit. It's also level 8, and then when there's a field spell, obviously you send a Stardust from the extra deck and special summon him, so it doesn't take up your main deck, which is really nice. The next card we're running is the actual tuner, which is Malefic Parallel Gear. What this one does is just say you have something like Stardust in your hand, you normal summon this, and you can actually synchro using Stardust and Malefic Parallel Gear and go into stuff like Malefic Paradox Dragon. I'll show you some of the extra deck we go into eventually. But yeah, it's a really good card. Then the next is the new support from Dual Power, or Duelist Overload, that's what it's called, not Duelist Power. So this is Malefic Paradox Gear. So what this card does is if there's a face-up field spell, you can tribute this card, special summon a Malefic Parallel Gear from your deck, so that's this guy. And then you can add a Malefic monster from your deck to your hand, so like that you can search out one of your level 8s to go into your level 10s synchro monsters. Then if a Malefic monster will be banished, or if you banish a monster, special summon a Malefic monster by its own way, you can banish the card instead. So for things like that, like Malefic Rainbow Dragon, you just banish him from the graveyard instead, and he's the requirement for instead of having Rainbow Dragon in your deck. So he's really nice. You can do that with any of them. Just the reason we run the Malefic Rainbow Dragon is just like have 4 Malefic Cyber Ends. Then for the one hand trap, well 3, we have Ash Blossom, just so your opponent can't search stuff. To get into the spells, then we have 2 of the field spell, which is Malefic World. The only thing this really does is at the start, during your standby phase, before you draw, you get to target 3 Malefic monsters in your deck, and then you get to your opponent randomly chooses one of them, and you shuffle the rest back in your deck. But it's in case you don't want to draw, so if you're looking for Malefic stuff, you just search out even your Malefic spells and traps, so it's nice that way. Then we have, this is our new support, Malefic Territory. So what this does is actually searches that card. So when it's activated, you can get the Malefic World from your deck. So it's like you're running 6, and if you have a Terraform, that's another one. Neither player can target cards on the field zone with card effects, so it's an extra defense. And then a monster on the field becomes the effect that there can only be one phase of Malefic monster on the field with the same name during the battle phase. Negate the effects of all phasic monsters on the field. So you can only have one of each name. So you can have like a Cyber End and a Malefic Rainbow, and they can all attack but you can have like multiples. But as soon as you kind of draw this card, it's kind of a no-brainer, like you've won pretty much, because as soon as you get this, you have the field spell, and once you get the field spell, you can do the you can just special summon whatever you've drawn, whatever Malefic monsters you've drawn, and then the Malefic monsters will defend you, being such big beat sticks. So yeah, so it's, and then from the field spell, then with the defense, you get to then search and then search out the stuff you want. Like if you do need the Malefic parallel gear, you just like next turn target all three, and then your opponent has to randomly choose one. You're obviously going to get that, and you're going to use it, and then you have your combo off then. So that's the way that kind of works. So it's a bit slow starting like that unless you draw good, but other than that, then when you kind of get going, you're going to really get going. Then this one is Malefic Selector. So this is, you can banish 2 Malefic cards and add 2 Malefic cards from your deck to your hand. So you banish the 2 from the graveyard and then search the 2 with different names from the banished cards, and you can only activate that once per turn. So this is another search, and it's very easy to go into the 2. A lot of the times when I've got this and I've had one Malefic monster on the field, and just say the field spell, and I need something in the graveyard, what I could do is, just say you have like a Blue Eyes or something, you can use the Blue Eyes, special summon him, and then he banishes the Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck, and then he goes to the graveyard, and then you can use this just as kind of fodder, just to search and get the stuff you actually need. Then we have the one Malefic Divide. So what this one is, you can target a Malefic monster graveyard and special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. Then we have 3 trade-in, because we're running 6 level 8s. As far as I know, there's only 6. There's the Stardust and the Blue Eyes. Yeah, Stardust and the Blue Eyes. So we're running 6 level 8s. So yeah. And then to search your level 8s, we have Melody of Awakening Dragon. Discard a card and add 2 dragons with 3000 or more attack and 2500 less defense. You get to search out your you might actually drop this to 1 maybe, and then add a terraforming. That's a possibility. Then we have 3 Call by the Grave, just to stop your opponent's hand traps. 2 Machine Duplication, because you can use it with either of the Malefic gears, Malefic Gear, Malefic Parallel Gear. It's just to thin out your deck as well in case you don't want them for the next turn. And then the 1 for 1 to search out the Malefic Parallel Gear, because it is a really good kind of a starter in your combos. Then for the extra deck, the extra deck's actually pretty small, but we have Malefic Paradox Dragon. So this card, when he is synchro summoned, you can select a synchro monster in your either player's graveyard and special summon it. They can only one face up Malefic Paradox gear on the field. So yeah, so it's an extra, like, so what I do is I'd always go into this one after I've gone into the other ones. So I'll show you some of the other ones. So this one is Time Lord Progenitor Warp Gate. So this is kind of cool, the fact that like these work really well together, and these were like friends in the anime. I know that's kind of silly, but it's cool. They're all level 10s. This card is actually a beast. This one can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card, and at the end of damage step, if this card is special with the extra deck battled, you can activate its effect, banish all monsters your opponent controls. And also for the rest of this turn, half the battle damage your opponent takes. Once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, special as many monsters possible that were banished with this card effect to your opponent's field. There's a lot of times I've just ended on this, and then your opponent can't get over it. Like, you can't destroy by battle, can't destroy by card effects, and then just attack, they lose the damage, and then all their cards are banished. And then you could summon something like the Malefic Cyber End or something, just attack, you know. It's like, there is some crazy stuff you can do with that. The next one is, I would bump up to 2. I'm only running like 8 extra deck because you're not needed, so you could run stuff. You could run more like rank 8s or something, but this is just what I'm using because this is the must-haves in the deck. These are the only things I've actually used and gone through. So this one is he's a Dracoitus Corrupted Nether Soul Dragon, and he requires a Dark Tuner and a non-tuner Dragon type monster. So like that, they're all the Malefics are all dark, and the Dragon types are Stardust and Blue Eyes. So he can't be destroyed by battle. And when he destroys the opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can activate his effect, and he can make a second attack on your opponent's monster in a row. And during your standby phase, you can target one face of monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its lost attack. So that's very, very powerful. So these are the level 10s that are just really, really, like, so just say you go into one of these two, And then they do manage to get over him. Next turn you just go into Malefic Paradox and just special summon it, ignoring its summoning condition, and you got the 2. So you got your 4000 beat stick, and then you got your unbeatable card. Then we have the 2 Stardust Dragon just to send, which are Malefic Stardust Dragons. Next one, a lot of times I've won the game just with Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, Gustav Max. So you have something like one of your synchro monsters, like let's say you do have your Malefic Paradox Gear and your Cyber End Dragon, and your opponent only has the 2000 life points left. You just overlay for the 2, go to Gustav Max, and then your opponent loses 2000 life points, because it's very easy to get them down to 2000 life points, and then you have your level 10s just to go for this. And then the last 2 cards is 2 Cyber End Dragons just to send or banish with Malefic Cyber End Dragon. So that's it for the deck profile, guys. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please check out my Instagram and eBay page to help support the channel and all that good stuff. And good luck.